was supposed to be a perfect night. Valentine's Day weekend, 1974. Carla Walker, just 17 years old, was laughing, dancing, holding hands with her high school sweetheart. The kind of evening that lives forever in yearbooks and teenage memories. But within hours, everything turned dark. After the dance, Carla was sitting in a car with her boyfriend when a man suddenly ripped the door open. What followed was violence, swift and terrifying. Her boyfriend was pistol-whipped and left bleeding on the pavement. Carla was gone, vanished. 3 days later, her body was found, tortured, raped, strangled, dumped in a roadside culvert like she was nothing. And for decades, nothing. No arrests, no justice, just silence. The case went ice cold, while Carla's family lived with the agony of never knowing who stole their daughter's life. But what no one knew, not Carla's parents, not the investigators, not even the killer, was that something had been left behind. A silent witness to everything that happened that night. DNA. Nearly half a century later, forensic science finally caught up to the past. And when detectives came knocking at the door of a now elderly Glenn McCurley, a man who had built a quiet, unassuming life, they brought with them a question he'd been running from for 46 years. Did you kill Carla Walker? This is the story of a cold case that refused to stay buried, of a community frozen in time, and of how one drop of DNA shattered the mask of a man who thought he'd gotten away with murder.
Mr. McCurley?
Yes,
Hi, do you remember us?
I do. Yes.
Okay, I'm Detective Wagner, and this is Detective Bennett, and we are here to discuss the murder of this young lady. Do you recognize this picture?
I don't know who she is.
Okay. Well, did anybody tell you what you're here for today?
Mm.
Okay. So let me just start by talking. We're not going to ask you anything until let me say some things first, okay? We're here because we are looking into the murder of Carla Walker. And we've done a very thorough investigation. We know what happened, and our evidence has led us to you. Okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I know you're confused, but you shouldn't be because we know what happened. Okay? Now, this is your opportunity to talk to us, to tell us your side, because I have bosses that I have to answer to, and what they want to know is that if you have any regret, if there's anything that you can tell us that doesn't paint a picture of you that makes you look like a monster. Because frankly, right now, when you're talking about a young girl that got murdered, we only have one side, and we'd like to hear yours. Okay, so that's why we're here today. Okay, we know what happened, but we'd like to hear from you if there's anything. Hold on. Okay, all right. Before we go any further, though, okay, I got to read something to you, just like in the movies. Okay, but are you willing to talk to us today? I mean, it's like I said, it's your right to either speak with us or not. But I got to be clear on whether or not you're willing to talk.
Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about this stuff.
Okay.
The other day I was talking to you,
Mm-hmm.
and my involvement in this little girl here. I guess it really is not an involvement, but I had a 22 pistol
Okay.
that it was a clip in it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was fishing over on just south of me over there on the river.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time ago. I don't even remember what date was. And I heard some some tires going on the pavement and everything, and I quit and come over by my pickup and everything. And I had that gun that I had.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. McCurley, just a second. Do you have the waiver?
Mm-hmm.
Can you look at that picture and just tell us for sure that you do not know who she is? You've not had any contact with her?
I've never seen her before. I don't know who she is.
Okay.
If she's standing right beside of me, You say it's what's her name?
Carla Walker.
Oh, I've
So you've never met her before, never seen her?
never seen her, never met her,
Mm-hmm.
never talked to her. I wouldn't know her
Mm-hmm.
if she was standing beside of me.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, I guess it's not any importance anymore. But there was two guys in a pickup, and I went to check. I had that pistol in under the seat, wrapped up in a cloth, and I didn't think anything about it. Everything looked all right. And then later on, I found out that they had stolen that pistol.
Mm-hmm.
And I told the police that came and talked to it at the time that I didn't have the pistol, that it had been stolen.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. They took me downtown and questioned me and all this and that, and I told them exactly what I'm telling you and everything and what happened. And they said that they had found a clip
Mm-hmm.
for 22 pistols. And I didn't know anything about it. They thought that gun might have been used in the robbery or something. So they found it and
Real quick, she did read you your rights.
Okay, so sorry. So sorry. Okay, so just to be clear, this is Carla Walker, okay? Have you ever seen or talked to this little girl before?
never.
Okay, so you don't know. Okay. So you were saying, okay, back in 1974, they had brought you in and they were talking about your gun. Tell us more about that.
Well, yeah, like I say, I was fishing it over there, just right off 80 under that overpass.
Mm-hmm.
We just gotten here, moved to Fort Worth,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a lot of fishing places. When you're living in Midland, well, there's a lot of fishing places here.
Mr. McCurley, you seem like you're a nice man. You do. But I have to say, I still don't believe you. I don't believe a word coming out of your mouth. You know why? Because I know that you had something to do with this little girl dying. Okay? I know this. He knows it.
What
That's
did
why
I
we're
have
here.
to do?
You were the one that did it. You kidnapped her. You took her and you killed her. Okay?
No, I didn't.
You did. You did. Okay? You did. We're not here to discuss whether or not you did or you didn't, because you did. We know you did.
How do you know I did?
Because we have evidence that said you did. Okay? We wouldn't be here. It's been 46 years. 46 years is a long time to just point the finger blankly at some little old man. You're a grandfather. You're a father. What if this had happened to your granddaughter? Wouldn't you want something
I
to come out of it?
wouldn't have liked it.
You wouldn't have liked it? You just said when we talked to you how much she meant to you. Carla was 17 years old. 17. She had a family. She had a boyfriend that she was going to marry. And you took that away from her, okay? I need you to tell me something that I can believe. Because everything you're telling me right now,
Well, if I tell you
Thanks to
you
high
don't,
heaven.
well, you don't believe me.
I
We
will
just
believe
want
the
the
truth.
truth.
Okay? I will believe the truth. But right now, you're not giving me the truth.
I did not kill anybody.
Then what did you do? What did you do if you did not tell?
I
Give me
did not
something.
kill.
Give me something that makes me believe you're not the monster that we think that this person who did this to Carla was.
How can I do that?
You tell me.
I don't know when she was killed, what hour, what day, or anything.
So you're still trying to tell me you don't know anything about this?
I don't know anything about her.
Okay. Again, I don't believe
I'm
you.
sorry, but
Okay.
I don't.
So when you go to jail, okay, you can't say that you didn't have an opportunity, because you did. This is your opportunity today to talk about what happened. Maybe things got out of control. Maybe you didn't intend for it to happen, okay? But it did happen. It happened. And it happened between her and you.
And you do know, Mr. McCurley, that this happened.
How do I
And
know?
You've been carrying this for so many years. And you know it's been weighing on you.
Well, if y'all knew all that, why didn't you come get me back then or something?
Because they didn't know, but we do.
How do you know?
Because we have evidence.
What kind of evidence?
That's not something that we can talk about. But I promise you, we would not be here today if we didn't have something to back it up. We just don't willy-nilly people, okay? We just don't do that. You're 77. You have health issues. Your wife has health issues. We care about people. We care about you, believe it or not. We would not come to you with this if we were not positive, okay? We would not. Look at me and believe what I'm telling you. I know, he knows, we know you did this. You need to make things right, okay?
Yeah,
You're sick. You are sick. How are you going to make things right before you pass away if you don't admit to the things that you've done, okay? It's life. Things happen, but we have to ask forgiveness.
You're saying I killed somebody, and I did not. I did not kill anybody.
Then what did you do?
What do you mean, what did I do? I don't know what I done. I didn't do anything.
You kidnapped her.
I didn't kidnap anybody.
You did. You kidnapped her.
But somebody saw me do this?
Yes, somebody did see you do this.
No.
You made a mistake. You left her boyfriend alive.
I did not kidnap anybody.
Her boyfriend is alive.
And he identified me as the guy.
He is a living witness, okay? You
No,
made a mistake. You
I
left
did not do anything like that.
You did. You did.
Mr. McCurley, this really is your time to be able to get this off your chest and to say
If it
what
was
happened.
on my chest, I didn't do anything like that. I did not do anything like that.
No, this is a heavy weight to carry.
It's not, because I haven't done anything. I've just been living with my wife and trying to take care of both of us because we're so old and everything. My kid's already gone. You know, I can't work or do anything like that. So I'm not able to work. But I haven't done that.
Maybe you didn't mean to.
No, I didn't mean to. I didn't do it. I did not kill that girl.
Did you kidnap her?
No, I didn't kidnap her. Whoever said they saw me do that is wrong, because I've been with my wife all the time. Back all those days, we've never separated. We've never separated and been away from each other, because she's got a bad heart, and I've got a bad heart.
Your wife was out of town then visiting her dad because he had surgery. He had heart surgery. She was gone during that time period. She was not there.
Her dad?
Mm-hmm.
I was with him.
No,
you were here.
She went without you. She just said last week she went to go see her daddy because he had heart surgery. You were not there. She went. She was out of town.
Where was she out of town at?
In Midland.
With your two boys.
No, that never happened.
That's what
she wouldn't go to. She doesn't. I don't even let her drive.
This was 46 years ago.
I know.
Mr. McCurley.
And she's still the same way. She doesn't have the reflex of driving.
Well, she said she was gone. She said she was out of town just last week when we talked to you. You were right there next to her when she said it.
She went out of town to Waco to school down there, and I drove her down there and came back with her every time.
She said her dad had a heart surgery.
He had a heart surgery here in Midland. I mean in Fort Worth.
Well, she said she was out of town.
1974, he was in the hospital in Midland.
I don't know for positively sure, but if I had known that, I would have been there.
So you were working.
You had to work.
You had work.
Well, if I was working, I was probably on the road driving.
Not when this happened. You weren't.
Where was I?
You were off. You worked that day, but you were off that night. When this happened, you were off.
I don't know where you're getting your information. Cause I didn't.
That came off your schedule from 1974.
Your work
Directly
schedule.
right off your work schedule
What work schedule is that?
from Back Creek.
Speed Fab Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm driving, daytime driving and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You got off work at 4:30 that Friday afternoon.
How about that?
Or that Saturday, I'm sorry.
Saturday? We didn't work very many Saturdays. No, I didn't do that to that girl.
Didn't do what?
Whatever was done to her, because I don't know her. I've never seen her, never talked to her.
Prior to that night.
What do you mean?
When you're saying you've never talked to her, are you meaning prior to that
I've
night?
never been this close to her if she was right there. I don't know her.
Did you ever hear about what happened to her back then?
I heard some stuff on the news and stuff, but that's,
What did you hear?
I don't know. I don't remember. Some little girl got killed or something,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't. I didn't have time to pay attention to those things then. 'Cause I was working. It's not my deal.
Mr. McCurley, we're going to step out for a minute. Would you like some water? Something to drink? Soft drink, water?
So let me ask you this, okay? Let's just say this was your 20-year-old granddaughter, okay? Do you think it would be important if there was DNA found on her body from somebody and something like this happened to her?
I don't know. I don't know.
Would it be important to you to find out who did it if there was DNA on her body?
I don't know what DNA is.
Okay, DNA is basically just what you leave from your body. Like if I were to touch him, I'm leaving my DNA on his pants. So it's what I leave on somebody else.
Everybody has their own individual DNA, and everybody's is different. And if somebody had killed your granddaughter and left their semen on her, would it be important to you to find out who did that?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Okay, so do you understand what DNA is then? It basically is just leaving a piece of yourself on somebody else. So if we could identify who that person is through their DNA, do you think that would be important to do?
Yeah, but I don't. Mine, how can mine get there? I did not do anything to this girl.
So, Ms.
What we're saying, Mr. McCurley, is that your DNA was found in Carla Walker. Okay? So there's no question about it. None. So now we just need to know why. You know? We don't want to believe that you're a horrible person. You know, was it just a bad night? I mean, your wife was out of town, you know, were you drinking and you just driving around? And did you just see something that was an opportunity and you thought, oh crap, what did I just do?
I can't explain.
Well, there's an
So-
explanation, Mr. McCurley, and that's all we're asking you.
I don't.
Just tell us how that could have happened. You know how it happened. We just need you to tell us.
So I convict myself, I guess, huh?
Well, you're not convicting yourself. You're just helping us understand why this happened. We already know that it happened.
Well, I suppose it did. But I didn't do it. I don't know how
Do
many.
you understand the fact that your DNA was on her body?
No, I
That
don't.
there,
I don't have any idea about it.
okay, your DNA was on her body, which means you had to be there and you had to participate in this. There's no question about that. It is evidence that does not lie. I'm sure you or your wife have watched those true crime shows and you've heard all about DNA and it being all over the place. Well, it's true. It's a real thing. And what led us to you was DNA. Okay? They didn't have DNA back then. They have DNA now. You had asked earlier why they didn't come get you then. They didn't come get you then because they didn't know who you were. We used your DNA to find out who you were. So there's no question here. Okay? There's no question. We know you did this to her. Okay? We just need to know why. When it comes to time for this to go in front of a jury, they need to know that this was a mistake and this wasn't something that you are. This is not the person who you mean to be. I've seen you. You've got a family. You've got grandkids. You love your wife and you take care of her. Okay? That's not the person you are. But you need to tell us that. You need to be able to explain what happened so that everybody else knows that too. Because not everybody's going to see that glimpse of your life as Mr. Glenn Samuel McCurley, loving husband, loving father, loving grandfather. They're not going to see that. They're only going to see what you tell them. But you got to be able to tell them. You got to be able to tell us. You can't just leave it as is. Because as is, it looks like you did a terrible thing to a young lady and nobody knows why. Everybody has questions about the why. Only you can answer the why.
This is about your credibility, Mr. McCurley. And just as Detective Wagner mentioned, it's the why. We just need to know why. And we know that you want to get this off your chest. You do want to talk about this. It's been too long. It's been too many years. Her family deserves answers. Just need you to tell us. Let her family have the peace you would want.
Then I go to the electric chair
You're not going to
No,
go to the
there's
electric
no
chair.
and get hung or whatever.
No.
You're 77 years old. They're not going to do that to you.
Yeah, that's what y'all say now.
They're not
we're-
going to do that to you. I promise you, they will not do that to you. At 77 years old, they're
My wife was gone then. I can't take care of my wife.
and I don't. You do have your son, right? Your son is close by.
Yeah, but
He's more than capable.
He can't do it.
Why not?
He works. He's got kids to work for.
You know what?
If it was,
We have parents too, and I promise you, if we needed to step up, we would do it. And I think your son would too. You know why? Because I think you raised him to be that kind of man. But we need you to be that kind of man right now. Okay? We need to believe that you're sorry about what happened.
Her family needs the peace, Mr. McCurley. We just need the resolution.
I can't say that I did something that I didn't do.
We all have things, skeletons in our closet we don't want to talk about. We make mistakes. Anybody can understand a mistake.
I can't go to prison either. I just soon go, if it'd make anybody happier, just go ahead and kill me now.
Nobody's going to kill you,
Nobody's
Mr.
gonna kill you.
McCurley.
Yeah, if you send me to prison, I will.
Well, we're not the ones that send you to prison. That would be up to a jury. And that's why we say...
I'm saying if I did this, I haven't said I didn't. I know what all is about. That's where I'll end up.
And you don't think you'll end up there anyway without saying what you need to say? I mean, wouldn't you rather make peace with things and have your final say than just blindly go off to jail? Because I'm telling you right now, we've got enough for you to just go to jail, okay? And then if a jury finds you guilty, then you go to prison. But that's why we're telling you, if you got the opportunity right now to say your piece and to tell us the whys of it, okay? We need you to step up to the plate and just tell us you made a mistake, to tell us that something happened that you didn't plan on, that this wasn't what people thought it was, and that it's this bad guy that's just going off and hurting young little girls. We need to know that something just was bad that night. Maybe you were taking some drugs, maybe you're drinking, maybe you weren't yourself. Things happen. I know there's plenty of times I regret things that I've done, and I go back and I think, oh crap, what did I do? But you've got to give us something to establish that you are a credible man, that what you're telling us right now is something that we can believe in, okay?
And that's all you want to hear, is that I said I did it.
We just want the truth. That's what we want.
We want the truth.
I'm telling you the truth.
No, we know what the truth is.
And I can see it on you right now. You know, and we know, you just are afraid to say it. You know it. We know it. You're afraid. And it's okay to be afraid. I would be afraid if I were you too. But that doesn't mean it's not the truth. Aren't there regrets that you have in your life that you wish you could have gone back and done something differently? Aren't there things that you wish you could have said? Don't let this be one of those moments where you wish you had that opportunity to speak and you didn't. Because you're not going to get this chance again.
So
we don't know.
Locked up, right?
What do you mean?
I'm going to get locked up and everything. I don't have a chance to do what?
To give your say. To speak. To tell the jury what really happened, what was going on, and what was happening with you. Maybe you were depressed and you're just looking for a good time. Maybe things just kind of went bad. We don't know how they ended up. We only know we don't know the whys of how they began. We only know how they ended up. Help us understand how they started.
We don't know everything that happened that night. We know that you did it. We don't know why. We don't know everything that occurred that evening. And that's what we need your help with. And that'll help give the family closure. But we're here today, and you know why.
Can you imagine if you said you wanted 2 girls? Can you imagine if either one of these was your daughters or your grandchildren, and you had been waiting for 46 years to find out what happened and why? We know Carla's family, and they are loving, compassionate people, and they just want answers. They just want answers.
And they deserve that after this many years.
They've been waiting for a long time, and her brother prays to God every day that he'll get those answers. We need you to help. We need you to help with that, because they deserve it. They're good people. Are you religious at all? I know your wife goes to church, and she
When she can.
And
she can't. She doesn't walk very good.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're a faithful man, then you know it's the right thing to do. I know you've kept this secret for a long time, and it has to have eaten at you. It has to have kind of torn at you inside, especially when you see your little ones growing up. When you lost your son, same thing. I'm sure that was a terrible, terrible thing for you. Well, they lost their daughter, and they just need answers. You're in a position right now where you can do something that nobody else can.
Yeah, and if I said I did, then I'll be in a position where I won't be able to do nothing for my family.
We're kind of in that situation right now, Mr. McCurley. This is just your opportunity to tell your side of what happened and let everybody know why this happened. And not to picture you as this big monster that did this multiple times. What was it about that evening that brought you to this point. Can tell that you want to get this off your chest, that you want to talk about it.
Yeah, I want to go home.
Well, that's not going to happen, Mr. McCurley.
You're not a monster, are you?
Just
Mr. McCurley, are you a monster? No, you're not. You know why? Because right now, you're showing some remorse, okay? But I need you to tell us about that remorse. I know that you are a good man in there. Otherwise, your wife wouldn't adore you as much as she does. She wouldn't lean on you like she does. She wouldn't love you and talk about you, about how wonderful you are, okay? But that same wonderful husband needs to do what's right in his heart, and he needs to be able to show that remorse and show that regretfulness of what happened, okay? Because good men that marry good women and have children and grandchildren and best friends that are around for 40 years that give them cars are the people that inspire them. You must inspire the good in those other people because you have a kind heart, because you are a good friend, because you are a good husband. I don't know what kind of a dad you are, but imagine if you're as good of a friend as you are a dad, then you probably must be a phenomenal dad, okay? But can you really stop right there and not give back? Show the people, show everybody that you are that good man. Show them what kind of a person you are that has made such a difference in the life of your family, okay? Because right now, it just seems like all you're doing is trying to protect yourself, and that's it, okay? But if you stand up and you be a good man and you show regret for what you did, that's something people can get behind and understand that at 77 years old, they want to show mercy to somebody like that. Nobody can promise you that, but you got to inspire that goodness in the jury and the people that are going to look at this case afterwards, like you inspire that goodness in your friends and your family. But the only way to do that is to be a good man, to step up right now, to own it. That's the only way to do that. We're not playing when we say we have evidence. We have evidence. We have your DNA. Okay? There's no
You wouldn't be
two buts.
sitting here with us right now if we didn't.
Something this serious. Have your DNA.
We didn't have your DNA.
Something this serious we don't play around with. Okay? We know what happened.
That means
We wouldn't just pluck you, one person, out of the city and bring you to this room if we didn't have evidence.
I was mixed up in it.
We understand that.
My clip on my gun.
Now, this doesn't have anything to do with your clip and your gun. Now, this is more serious than that, Mr. McCurley.
You wouldn't be upset right now and crying if you didn't feel bad. You wouldn't be upset right now if there wasn't something there that shows that you have remorse.
We can see the remorse on your face.
You just gotta tell us about it. You're this close. You just gotta tell us about it. And I promise you, you'll feel better after you do, because then that weight you've been carrying all this time will be something that you can finally let go of.
Be off your shoulders.
I imagine it's been difficult to keep this from your wife all these years. Y'all been married for over 50-something years. And to keep something like this from her, when I'm sure she's your best friend, you do everything together, you tell her everything, and you've had this one secret that you've kept all this time. Let it go. You need to be able to let it go, okay? You need to be able to let it loose, because that's the only way. The only way forward is for you to let it go. Something like this big, it eats you up. And it's been eating on you for 46 years. You can do it. We're willing to listen to whatever you have to say. But you got to be straight with us. You got to be honest.
Let it out.
What?
Okay.
I did do it, I guess.
Can you tell us what happened?
One thing I can say is I'd been out drinking quite a bit.
Okay.
I had problems. I don't remember what there was now, but bowling ball place.
Were you inside or outside?
I was outside. I'd parked in the parking lot.
It's just people watching.
I don't know if it was or not. I heard a girl screaming in the car over a couple of cars away from me. And I went over there to see if I could help. And
What'd you see?
there was this big guy. Had her up against the door, jerking her around and this and that kind of stuff. And I opened the car door to help her out. I got her and put her in my car.
When you went to help her out, what did you see was going on inside the car?
I couldn't tell if she was wrestling against her or something. I don't know. And she was screaming and yelling.
So you got her and you put her in your car.
Put her in my car and got her calmed down. We talked about some things. I don't know. I asked her why he was beating her up or whatever he was doing. And she started hugging me, thanking me. And one thing led to another. And did have sex with her. And I was pretty drunk at the time, kinda. She wanted, I told her I was going to take her home, and she said she didn't want to go home right that minute. We'd driven somewhere, I don't know, parked on the lot somewhere. And I let her out of the car. I don't know too much from there on.
Need you to tell us why you felt like you had to kill her.
Were you afraid she was going to go to your wife?
I guess.
Where was she when you killed her? Back in the car?
I guess. I don't know.
Were you using any sort of drugs in addition to the alcohol? Just the alcohol?
Whiskey and stuff, beer.
Any drugs?
No. I never used drugs.
How did you kill her?
I guess choked her.
Did you ever do anything to her boyfriend? Did you hit him or anything?
Oh no, I might have. I don't remember. We wrestling over on that door.
So you and him were wrestling too at the door?
Yeah, on her door.
Okay. Did he ever
trying to push him off of her?
Did he ever get out of the car?
I don't think so. Trying to help her. I didn't help her.
Did you see either one of them hit each other? Her hit him or him hit her?
He was, I think. He was I couldn't see real good, but I could see through the window.
Mm-hmm.
And she was screaming.
Do you remember what she was screaming?
The windows were up.
So when you let her out of the car for a little while, did she come back inside your car?
I left her. It was, I don't know where she lived or anything, but where we were, it was
So did you strangle her in the car or outside of the car?
You've done great so far. I know you got diabetes. You want me to get you a snack or something?
I feel all right.
What's that?
I can't hear too well. What'd you say?
I feel okay right now.
You sure? I can get you some cookies or chips or something. Might make you feel a little better. Alrighty. I just want to make sure you're doing okay, so we got that just in case, okay? So now we need to really know about how you got her out of that car, okay? Because the little girl was a virgin. And if she was fighting with her boyfriend about having sex, people are going to have a really hard time believing that she was going to willingly have sex with you. Okay? So, you've come this far. Nothing can be worse than what you've already told us. You told us the hardest part. You need to tell us about what really happened between you and her sexually. Okay?
There's no forcing.
You forced her.
She wasn't going to be fighting with her boyfriend about not having sex with him and then go willingly have sex with a stranger.
It just doesn't make sense.
You need to be credible, and this is your opportunity to be credible and tell the truth, because people that are making decisions aren't going to believe that she just willingly did that.
You already told us you were drinking, okay? And I'm sure that that's the reason that this happened, is because you were drinking, okay? Matter of fact, where were you drinking that night?
In the car.
So you just carrying a bottle around, drinking, driving around? Okay. And you said you're drinking whiskey?
Yeah.
What else? Just whiskey?
Beer.
Beer and whiskey? How long had you been drinking?
Several hours.
Okay. So you probably weren't in the best state. You probably drunk. Probably, you said you had some problems going on. So your mind wasn't all there. Okay? So, what happens when you see the little girl and her boyfriend in the car?
I thought she was being beat up on.
Okay, so even if you thought she was being beat up, people are going to have a hard time believing that she actually had sex with you. Because willingly. She had a stellar reputation. She was Little Miss All-American. You know, she was a virgin. She's just not going to have sex with some stranger when she's been with her little boyfriend for a couple of years. You need to tell us the complete truth, just not parts of it, okay?
You've done the hardest part.
If you forced her to have sex, That's just one small piece, okay? It's nothing compared to the fact of how it ends up. You've already come this far. You might as well just go the whole boat so that they know.
Well, I didn't think I beat her up.
No, you didn't have to beat her up. Well, you already said that you probably choked her at the end, right? But we need to know that you forced her to have sex, okay? Because there was definitely evidence of rape.
I guess I did. I don't.
You see
You
how
guess you did, or
Huh?
you did, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I guess I did, but I don't remember any bad part of it until I got scared about it.
Right.
what made you scared?
I was afraid that she'd tell on me or something.
Okay. So let's go backwards, okay? Start at the beginning of that day. You were at work that day, right? So at some point you find yourself at the bowling alley, right?
Yeah, I parked in a lot there.
Okay. You parked in a lot. You hear her, okay? You hear her screaming. You just don't know what it is. So you go over there to check on her. Then what happens?
You I opened the door on her side
Mm-hmm.
and had a tussle with him, trying to get him off of her. I was pushing him.
You say tussle. What all do you mean by tussle? What
just-
exactly happened?
Just pushing him off because he was.
Did you ever hit him, or did he ever hit you?
I don't know about that.
Okay. So you're pushing him off, and then what happens?
He got over on the other side of the car, and I told her to come on and get in my car, and she got out and got in my car.
Did she say anything to him?
No, I don't think so.
Because the way it was told to us was that you grabbed her and you forced her into your car.
No, I just was holding her arm to get her away from him,
Okay.
and he was cussing and yelling and stuff like that. And, I think he got in the car and drove off before I got out of out of the parking lot. And I drove around for 10 or 15 minutes and then parked at another parking lot and was talking to her.
Mm-hmm. And then, did she want you to take her home?
Well, she didn't say that.
Okay. So
I
then,
mean, she might have been, but
Just tell us this part, Mr. McCurley. What happened? Just be completely honest with us.
well, she just was thankful that I got her away from him.
Okay.
That's what she said.
Okay. And then what?
I don't know if she
Did you mistake her gratitude for her wanting to have sex, and you took it a little too far and maybe forced yourself?
might have. I was drunk. I don't.
Well, like I
I
said,
had good intentions, but
you know, you had good intentions to start, you know, but maybe those good intentions kind of went away because you're a man, you've been drinking, here's a pretty little girl, and you just couldn't help yourself. And does that sound about right?
I just I got
Did you get carried away?
I got scared that she saw me and everything like that. She'd tell on me.
Because you had gotten a little rougher with her than.
Well, I didn't get rough with her, I don't think. Besides choking her, I guess.
As far as the sex go, you did force yourself on her as far as having the sex. And I would think the alcohol probably contributed to that. And you're not, I'm looking at you, you're not a monster. We've seen monsters. And you don't seem like a bad person to us. But things happen. And I would think with the drinking, when it came to having sex with her, that got out of hand.
Well, and you're considerably bigger. You're what, 6'3"?
Something like that.
Okay, and you're probably 250 pounds or so back then. She's 4'11", about 85 pounds. So that can go bad quickly. It can go bad very quickly.
So you were afraid that she was going to tell because she wasn't wanting to have sex, right?
Well, she didn't just, I don't think. I can't.
I don't think anybody's going to believe the fact that she was willing to have sex with a stranger when she wasn't willing to have sex with her boyfriend. You can understand that, right? Does that sound reasonable to you?
I didn't know much what was going on in here.
So okay, so after it's all said and done, you said you took her somewhere. You don't remember where you took her?
I let her out somewhere.
Okay.
It
It
was over. I don't know. It's down. I want to say it was down there by the end of that street that turns into. I think she did. I was getting her out of the car.
You'd already choked her at this point.
I tried.
So you choked her in the car, not at the place that you left her?
No.
You're doing really good, Mr. McCurley. Just need to continue being just completely honest with us. You've gotten the hardest part out
I
of the
got her
way.
out of the car,
Okay.
and she was still breathing. I didn't.
How do you know?
Well, she was standing up by herself against the car.
So did you choke her again?
No.
Well, at what point did you kill her?
I don't know if I did.
Well, we know you did. That's already been established.
That I did kill her?
Yes. You did.
Yes.
I don't know.
So you choked her in the car, and is that where you raped her as well, in the car? And then you dropped her off at the other place?
I don't know. I can't remember all that.
We just need you to tell us what happened. You don't want to just give us half the story.
You've come this far already. The hard part's over. We're just looking for details to
And this is about
make sure you're 100% honest.
in making you credible. Because right now you've not given us the whole story, Mr. McCurley. You've given us a part of it. And you've gotten past the hardest part. You've done a really good job. But we need the whole story. We need the story that people are going to understand and relate to and believe.
Well,
If she wasn't willing with her boyfriend, it's not believable that she would be willing to have sex with a complete stranger. I think you can understand that.
Well, I think I think she was crying when I was doing all that. I mean,
And why was she crying?
getting her away from him.
And because you raped her, you felt like you needed to kill her to keep her quiet.
I was just having sex with her. I didn't beat her up except for choking her afterwards. I just had sex.
Yes, but having sex with somebody doesn't necessarily mean the same, okay? You might have been having sex with her, but was she willing to have sex with you?
I don't remember any different than that.
I don't think any. See, you've already told us you've done really well in telling us the hard part about what's happened. But we need the whole story. Don't take away the good that you've done when you said you went over there intentionally at first to try and help her. But it's not believable that.
Did you choke her while you're having sex? Because sometimes that happens. Sometimes people choke people when they're having sex because that's part of what makes it exciting. There's actually a thing called autoerotica where they actually do that. Did you choke her while you were having sex with her?
I don't think so. I think it was afterwards.
Okay, so you choked her afterwards, which means you choked her because you were afraid. You're afraid of what had happened beforehand. And what had happened beforehand was that you forced her. Okay, you were having sex because she's a pretty young girl.
Force. I mean,
meaning she didn't want to. Okay, there's evidence that she was forced. She did not want to have sex, even if you did. That's why we're calling it rape, because she didn't want to have sex.
She didn't want to have sex with her boyfriend. Logic tells you that she most definitely didn't want to have sex with a stranger. What was the reason you selected the spot that you did to place her body?
it was against the building down there. I think that's where I left her. I took advantage of her, I guess, later on.
Now that makes sense.
And that's what we're
Now
talking
you're
about.
getting us over the hump of the hard part here.
I choked her to death, I guess, and then, but I didn't beat her up
No.
and all that kind of crap.
Don't think you're a monster. We don't think that you beat her up. That's not what we're indicating at all. But you did just clarify for us what you did, and that makes sense. You took advantage of her. It was.
And then you got scared, and so you choked her. Is that about right?
I don't know what else you'd want. I've already put myself out on it.
How's that?
Well, I'm guilty. And
Guilty of what?
I guess, well, that little girl.
You mean guilty of raping her and killing her?
I guess. Well, she seemed calm to me. I mean, I didn't have to fight her to do anything. And she kissed me on the cheek, and I kissed her back. It's because she was thankful.
That was prior to you all having sex.
Yeah, getting her away from that guy. She said he was mean to her, and
Then you took advantage of her, like you said.
yeah, and then I turned bad.
You didn't mean to do it? So what?
I didn't go out to do it. Anything.
How did you feel afterwards?
I was scared to death.
You were scared to death? Were you scared when the police came to talk to you?
I died.
Every time? What was going through your head? Okay, well, there's something else that's not quite matching up either. Um, did you ever assault the boyfriend? You said y'all was wrestling, but did you ever assault him as far as punch him or hit him or
I
anything?
probably punched him and knocked him out of the way. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
No,
Did you ever draw blood?
I don't guess. No. I didn't. No, not that I know of. I wasn't bloody or anything, or nobody that I know of.
He got hit hard enough to bleed like a stuck pig. He was bleeding all over the place. So did you punch him hard enough that he's bleeding all over the place? Because what he got injured by was not a fist.
Unless he got hit by the car when I was pushing him or something, I don't know.
No, he got hit by a gun. He got pistol whipped by a gun. Okay? He is going to tell the jury that. He's going to stand by, show pictures of his injuries, and point the finger at you and say, that man did this to me and then kidnapped my girlfriend. Okay? If he's going to do that, you need to be completely honest about what you did, because again, showing that you're willing to atone for all of that and own it is what the jury is going to see as being merciful. If they don't believe you because you keep holding back bits and pieces of stuff, then they're less likely to believe what you have to say all the way across the board. So you can't just give up pieces, you got to give up the whole deal, okay? It's too late to go back now. You've already done all the big stuff, all the hard stuff. These are just little details. But we need to know all these details for the whole picture. We know you had the gun. We know you had the gun that night. That's what led them to you in the first place. Did you get rid of it?
No.
You still have it?
Yeah.
Where's it being kept?
Hmm?
Where do you have it in your house?
Yeah.
Is it in your bedroom?
No, it's in the little room up in the ceiling.
So up in the attic?
No, not in that. Well, I guess you'd call it that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else with the gun that you kept from that night?
Sorry.
You don't have to be
You don't
sorry.
have to be sorry, Mr. McCurley. You know what? You're sitting here and you're telling us the truth. You're telling us what happened.
We're making progress.
You know what?
I've had a bad years thinking about it.
Oh, I can only imagine.
They had worse. I didn't.
What's that?
They had worse.
Yes.
I didn't mean it to just happen.
You know what? They're going to have some resolution and some peace now.
I wish it had been me instead.
I mean, that was, what, 31-year-old you?
I don't know how old I was.
A long time ago.
Different person back then than the person today.
During the days that gone by and stuff like that.
Can't imagine the weight that you felt for the last 46 years.
Maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know.
For more than 4 decades, Carla Walker's family carried the unbearable weight of not knowing. A high school date night turned into a lifelong nightmare, unanswered questions, fading leads, and a community haunted by silence. But justice, no matter how delayed, finally spoke. Glenn McCurley, a name buried for years, was dragged into the light by the one thing that never forgets: DNA. And with one confession, the case was closed. But the pain, sadly, never fully leaves. Carla was just 17, and for 47 years, her memory waited to be honored, not just with flowers or tears, but with truth. Some monsters hide in plain sight, and sometimes justice whispers before it roars. Thanks for watching. If this case moved you, subscribe for more stories that demand to be told. And remember, no matter how long it takes, the truth has a way of coming home.